Hey folks, let us continue our playthrough. I don't know if you're gonna notice, but I've changed microphones, and this one I keep it uh, closer to my mouth, so hopefully my voice will sound a bit richer, um, or well, globally it should be clearer at least. But we'll see about that. Anyway, let's go. Let's check that manuscript.
If the manuscript was what Flap and Greedo were after, they were going to be disappointed. I couldn't wait to get back to Nico's apartment and check it out. You're just not going to believe what I've found.
It's not another part of the clown's costume, is it?
Far from it, sister. Huh, now check this out.
It's a medieval manuscript. Khan left it in the safe at the U-Boo.
It's incredible. Is this what he took from Plantark?
It could be, which means it's worth enough to kill for.
Look there, two guys on the same horse.
Oh yeah, maybe they couldn't afford one each. What of it?
Have you ever heard of the Knights Templar? Their official seal was an image of two knights sharing a horse. Whatever this manuscript means, it's connected with the Templars.
How come you know about these knights?
I learned about them while writing an article on the Crusades. This guy, named Hughes de Payen, arrived one day at the court of King of Jerusalem. He offered to protect the Christian pilgrims from the displaced Muslim armies. The king would be able to guarantee safe transit to Christians in the Holy Land. Safer journeys meant more pilgrims, and pilgrims meant trade and wealth. The Templars proved invaluable to the king as a mercenary army. It was said that they never asked how many the enemy numbered, just where they were. And as the years went by, the Templars grew in wealth and numbers. They were so rich, even kings came to them for loans. But at the height of their power, they fell foul of the King of France. He rounded them up and turned them over to the Inquisition. Thousands of Templars were subject to torture and confessed to heresy. Of course, at the hands of the Inquisition, there wasn't much they wouldn't confess to. The last Grand Master Jacques de Molay was burned alive. But the treasure of the Knights Templar was never found.
Jeez. So the treasure is hidden, waiting to be discovered?
If there ever was a treasure, it's been lost for 600 years. Anyway, we're supposed to be investigating a serial killer, not a medieval treasure trove.
But maybe that's what the clown and his accomplices are after. Maybe this manuscript is the key.
You'd better leave it here for safekeeping. Think about it, George. One guy's already died for it, as you said yourself. Besides, that parchment is fragile.
Okay, I'm convinced. You keep hold of it.
Okay, so we got a crash course on the Knights Templar. So the mystery only gets thicker. Why is that thing even worth killing for? So we'll just have to investigate, I guess. Seems like there's a bigger story behind all of this.
I found Plantar's briefcase in the killer's hotel room. It was empty, of course.
Okay, let's check the manuscript again.
Let's take another look at the manuscript.
Let's face it, we need help, George. Someone who knows about these things.
Who do you suggest? Indiana Jones?
I know a guy who specializes in medieval studies. His name is Lobinel.
Huh. Some stuffy old fossil who gets horny over ancient relics, I suppose.
Far from it. Andre isn't the stereotypical professor you have in mind.
Where can I find this Lobino guy?
At the Kron Museum. I'll give you the address.
Yeah, George is being a little stereotypical there. It's not because you're a history nerd that you're stuffy and old. Alright, whatever.
There's a woman looking at her reflection in a mirror, but the reflection has 3 hideous faces.
She reminds me of the Wicked Queen in Snow White.
She was the one who said mirror, mirror on the wall, wasn't she? She made me cry so much when I was a kid, Mom carried me out of the movie theater.
She didn't frighten me in the least.
Like I said, I was only a kid. I didn't like the crocodile in Peter Pan either.
Okay.
A knight with a crystal ball. Now, there's something written on the scroll beside the knight.
Yes, but it's written in Latin. Per disciplinam mea lux videbis.
By my teachings, you will see the light.
You speak Latin? Where did you learn a trick like that?
A trick? I studied law, okay? I can read Latin.
My, you're touchy. Tell me that again.
Through my teachings, you will be enlightened.
It's okay. Lots of symbolism there, I guess.
There's a guy working on a loom. He's weaving a carpet or a tapestry.
Or a duvet cover? It's a clue to a place, I reckon. Somewhere famed for weaving and ships.
Where folk live in barrels?
It beats copper boxes.
Okay. I'm not gonna comment on that.
There's a guy with a sword and a bull.
The only mythological bull I know of is the Minotaur, but he was only half bull.
I don't think I'd like to be half a bull, even if it was the bottom half.
What's that object between them?
It looks like a gem on top of a tripod.
So yeah, a sword, a bull, a tripod, and a gem on top of it. Huh. Is that like some sort of alchemy, a philosophical stone or something? Yeah. Okay. Nothing more to investigate, I think, on this. Yeah, I'll just ask her about the matches and the car, just to. I don't think she's got anything to say, but whatever.
I found this matchbook in the killer's hotel room. It's from the Club Alamut.
Never heard of it. Is there anything written inside it?
No, what were you expecting?
If this was a movie, there'd be a clue, a name or an address. That's no use. There aren't even any matches in it.
Oh well, I'll keep it as a souvenir.
As a souvenir, yeah. You do remember you were almost killed in that explosion, right? Okay, whatever.
I found this in the killer's room.
What is it, a credit card?
ID, Thomas Merlin, of the Gruber Electronics Corporation.
Never heard of him or the company.
Figures. So I guess it's going to be the Kryn Museum now.
Maybe I'll check out the Kroon Museum.
I'm sure you'll find it useful, George.
Oh yeah, just for that piece of information about the matches.
Oh, hi.
Hello, my handsome friend.
You don't really need to, but it's always good to know.
Does this matchbook mean anything to you?
No, but I can tell you one thing. There's no such place as the Club Alamu in Paris.
So there we go. There's no, it's not in Paris.
See you later.
That's right, monsieur. You will.
And oddly enough, Sergeant Moo has something to say about it, so let's go to the police station. It's only a quick stop anyway. They don't have anything else to say about the murder case.
Excuse me.
What do you want now?
Oh yeah, right. We can talk about the Flap and Guido. You remember the two thugs from earlier?
I'd like to report an assault.
Yes, monsieur? Where is the victim?
I'm the victim. I've been harassed by a pair of thugs.
I see. And where did this alleged assault take place?
Outside the Hotel Ubu. They stopped me as I was leaving and went through my pockets.
Could you describe the suspects, monsieur?
One looked like a gorilla, and the other looked like a weasel. Their names are Flap and Guido.
Bon. I'll get them this time.
What are you going to do about Flap and Guido, Sergeant?
I'm going to bust them, monsieur. For years I have been hoping to pin something on that pair. Now's my chance. I'll show them, and the inspector.
Thanks, Sergeant. Thanks for taking me seriously.
I'm only doing my duty, monsieur.
Okay.
Does this matchbook mean anything to you, Sergeant?
That's a double-line Swedish with a crosshatch Bergman strike strip. Now, that's unusual. Pre-war Anderson hinging.
Really?
I haven't seen a reinforced Anderson outside of a private collection.
It's rare then?
In this part of the world, yes. There are only 3 places these are made. Taiwan, Manila, and Slough.
Don't ask me why. But apparently, he's a matchbook nerd. So yeah, why not? I mean, more common collectors are stamps and stuff. So I don't know, matches. Well, matchboxes. Anyway.
See you later, Sergeant.
I don't think it's worth talking to Ross, so let's go. Okay. Oh yeah, right. There's a. Let's check this out, just for the sake of George saying a sentence.
Through the grimy glass, I could see several large shapes in a gloomy room. What they were, I couldn't imagine. I considered smashing my fist through the pane, wrenching open the window, and vaulting triumphantly into the building. Then I thought, no, that's dumb. Besides, I might get hurt.
Yeah, exactly. But why George is being random, I don't know at all. But that's one of the cool things about this game. Some of the sentences, some of the jokes are really they're really circumstantial. It's really, you really feel like it's just on the spot. Which is cool.
Access to the side and rear of the museum building was blocked by a dense clump of bushes. A real macho guy would have plunged straight into the spiky, scratchy bushes. Not me.
Oh hey, look, there's a tripod there. Let's check it out.
In the case was a spindly tripod, blackened with age and pitted with rust. It was identical to the tripod pictured on the manuscript. A notice identified it as 15th century from Western Ireland. It had been found in Loch Marn at the site of a Knights Templar preceptory. Ireland!
What's that?
This tripod was found in Ireland.
I will have to ask you to keep your voice down.
I'm sorry, I was excited.
But it doesn't look like there's anybody else in the museum, dude. Okay, sure. Oh, shoot!
As I reached toward the display case, a shrill piping filled the air. I froze, then tried to get myself together and act nonchalantly.
Eh, no. No, monsieur. No.
What's wrong?
You must not handle the exhibits.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, let's just take a look around.
The case contained a collection of rocks. They were all shapes and colors, but they were still rocks. Above them, a sign read, L'Âge Paléolithique. I tried to sneak my hand inside while the guard wasn't looking, but the case was locked. It was a statue from ancient Egypt. Those old civilizations sure could teach us a few things about art and beauty. The statue didn't deserve to be mauled by a Philistine like me.
I guess so.
The case contained some fragments of pottery. They looked to me like broken flower pots. Above them, a sign read, L'Âge Paléolithique.
Again? So rocks and pots.
I tried to sneak my hand inside while the guard wasn't looking, but the case was locked.
Oh. Again. Well, of course, it's a museum. What do you expect, George? Okay. Carry on.
The case contained 2 rows of silver coins. Each coin on the lower row showed a portrait of a guy with a huge nose.
A guy with a huge nose. Huh.
I tried to raise the glass cover of the case, but it didn't budge.
I know I'm trying this, but just for the sake of the sentences.
I looked down at a collection of tools with wooden handles and tarnished metal blades. There were knives, chisels, and spikes fanned out in a semicircle. I guess there's always been a need for home improvement. I tried to sneak my hand inside while the guard wasn't looking, but the case was locked. It was a large brass urn. There was nothing in the urn. It was a tapestry of a lady, a lion, and a unicorn. If I'd had more time, I could have stared at it all day.
Is it that beautiful? Okay, sure.
Touching an object as rare and beautiful as that would have been the act of a barbarian.
Okay.
The totem pole looked distinctly out of place in the setting of the museum.
Yep. Okay.
It was an ancient Egyptian sarcophagus with a beautifully painted effigy of its owner on the lid.
Leave it alone. That closet is over 3,000 years old.
A closet?
Closet? It's a sarcophagus. It was a stone carving from ancient Egypt. I was no desecrator of tombs.
Okay, I think we've taken a look at everything. Let's just talk to the guard, I guess.
The attendant had an air of self-importance and the kind of steely eyes that never seemed to blink.
Yeah.
Pardon me. Oui, monsieur?
Are you Lobineau?
Oh, no. Fancy you mistaking me for him. No. I am the deputy custodian.
But Lobineau does work here.
Work? I wouldn't go so far as to call it that. He studies here most days, but as you can see for yourself, not today.
Yeah, attendant seems a more appropriate word. So, I wonder if he knows anything. Let's just ask.
Can you give me any further information about the tripod?
Certainly, monsieur. It's infamous. That tripod, that belonged to John D.
John D. Who the heck is that?
What's the importance of John Dee's tripod?
D was the most famous escapologist of the 16th century. The Houdini of his time.
Don't you mean alchemist? Escapologists use ropes, chains, and handcuffs, not tripods.
Well, whatever he was, That is the tripod he used in his experiments.
Uh-huh.
What kind of experiments did John Dee perform with his tripod?
Oh, the usual. Didn't you study chemistry at school?
Yeah, but we skipped over thaumatology. Can I take a closer look at the tripod?
What? Get it out of the case? Ah, no! That tripod is protected by a sophisticated surveillance system.
How sophisticated?
A painfully loud alarm bell.
Yeah, I kinda heard that earlier.
How is the alarm bell triggered?
By the slightest pressure on or movement of any part of the case wherein that tripod is situated.
It strikes me that to call your alarm system sophisticated is, well, stretching the truth a little.
It has never failed yet. The sophistication is in its simplicity.
Hmm. Yeah, well, I'm not convinced, you know.
Do you know anything about the Knights of the Temple?
No, sir, not a sausage.
The sign on the tripod says it was found at a Templar preceptory.
It does?
Yeah, it doesn't mention John Dee at all.
Most remiss.
You don't know anything about the tripod, do you?
No, I don't. I never had much of a start in life, you see. I owe what little education I gained to my uncle. He was an optician, but he also doubled as the village school teacher. He taught me the alphabet. Wait, 19 letters of it. The bottom row of the chart was too small even for him to read, so he left them out.
Why don't you start over and enroll for adult education?
You know, I never thought of that. Do you think if I studied art and did all my homework, I could be a professor of history?
At your age? Dream on.
Yeah, that may be a little bit too much of a wishful thinking there. So, well, we can try.
Do you know anything about medieval manuscripts?
Not me, monsieur. I am no scholar, though people often mistake me for one. It is the uniform, I guess. They see the clothes. They are impressed.
And they ask you to park their cars?
They ask me to park the... No, no, no. They assume I am an authority on the exhibits in my care.
Whereas you know next to nothing about history.
Of course not. All I am saying is, I am no scholar. Not like Monsieur Lobineau.
Mm-hmm.
What can you tell me about the collection of coins?
A rare example of silver coinage from the reign of Philippe le Bel. That little old lay buried for centuries in a field on the outskirts of Paris. They're unique. Nothing like them has been found anywhere else in Europe.
So, Philippe le Bel. And why am I doing that with an accent? I'm French myself. I should say that in French.
Who was Philippe le Bel?
You don't know? Philippe IV, the King of France.
Wasn't he the guy who wiped out the Knights Templar?
I have no idea, monsieur. All I know is he was King of France. I don't even know why he was called Philippe le Bel.
What can you tell me about the collection of pottery?
Those are remains of pots used by the original inhabitants of Paris. The Paris pot people.
When did they move out?
15,000 years ago, monsieur. Vanished in the mists of time. Didn't even have time to pack up their pots.
Yeah. Okay, let's pursue this a little bit further.
I thought the original inhabitants of Paris were a tribe known as the Parisi.
That is right, monsieur. Renowned for their pots. You see, in those days, people didn't have much in the way of possessions. A few flints, some animal skins, maybe the odd bone or two. Naturally, when the Parisi came along with their pots, why, everybody wanted one.
I guess they must have caused a kind of consumer frenzy.
Ah oui, they cornered the market, cleaned up.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know the first thing about those pots, do you?
No, monsieur.
Yeah, figures.
Do you recognize this red nose?
I don't think so.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, monsieur. Is there any reason why I should?
I guess not. Do you recognize this ID pass?
No.
What does this tool mean to you?
That belongs in a museum.
Pardon?
It is a priceless historical artifact, if I am not mistaken.
No, it's a plain old tool for lifting drain covers. Have you ever heard of the Club Alamut?
Oh no, I don't frequent places like that.
You don't even know what it is. Ah, dude.
Would you like to shake my hand?
Not while I'm on duty, monsieur.
What do you make of this tissue?
It is absolutely disgusting, monsieur.
Kind of funny that we have a conversation over like a few meters away. And I'm still able to show him stuff and he just sees it from that far away. Okay, whatever. I think we're done here.
Thanks for your help.
Okay, let's get out of here.
The tripod was definitely the one on the manuscript. The Templar connection confirmed it. I was tempted to go to Ireland to check it out.
So, yep, Ireland. So it looks like we'll be going to Ireland next. But let's go back to Nico's apartment first to report in.
Hi, Jules.
Hey,
I found the tripod.
Where?
In the museum. It belonged to the Templars. It was dug up in Ireland at a place called Loch Marn.
I have heard of Lochmarn. I read an article about the castle. Take a look for yourself.
A popular gossip magazine? You read that rubbish?
No, I write it.
oh.
Professor Nigel Pegram, excavating the medieval castle at Loch Marn. That's strange.
What?
He resigned his chair at Durham University in order to devote his time to the excavation. Not only that, but he canceled the filming of a fourth series of his popular television program. This site at Loch Marn must be awful important to him.
He's a professor of history. They're all cuckoo.
All the same, I'd like to talk to this Professor Pegram. How do you feel about a trip to Ireland?
Disappointed.
Huh?
That I won't be going. I want to follow up the Bellotta case. If you really think Pegram's dam is important, why don't you visit Lochmarn?
On my own? I'm not so sure about that. Where is Ireland exactly?
Oh, come on, George. A little bit of geography.
What do you know about Professor Pegram?
I've seen a television program, Pegram's Past. He's written a book, The Crusader Families of Ireland.
I'll bet he'd be interested in the manuscript.
Yeah.
Let's take another look at the manuscript. That's the tripod in the crew museum.
Oh, that's it? Oh, okay. I thought there was something else, which was new. Okay, so, I guess we're off to Ireland.
I'll see you later.
Okay. Keep me informed if you find anything new.
But I think we'll be doing that next time. So again, thank you guys for watching. Should you have any feedback, comments, suggestions, games maybe that you would want me to play based on what you know of me, just ask away, and I'll be glad to answer any of your inquiries. So again, thanks you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time maybe. Okay,